Wow. Thank you for letting me know that. Can you hear me now? I think you should be able to. The mic was inadvertently set on mute.
All right.
So if you can let us know in the chat.
Yes. Yay.
Oh,
all right.
good.
Well, Kim's giving you a nice intro.
I just did a whole blurb about what this was. I'm going to start again. Yay. Hi, everybody. Yeah, welcome and welcome back.
So we have several pairs of ears. Bless them.
Yes.
We have Jane, Sarah Abadi, and Rebecca Niblet.
Yes, I was just going to redo the intro, dear, because there was no sound.
Sorry, I knew that you were about to.
Yeah, so...
the cart is before the horse.
Yes, this is the virtual studio party for Monday, June 14th. Thank you for coming, those of you who are here live, and for those who watch later. And Virtual Studio Party is the studio party that comes to you wherever you are. So whether you're at home or at the cottage or somewhere else, as long as you've got adequate internet service. And of course, I'm here with my handsome and multi-purpose co-host, Kal Honey.
Hello, hello.
And I did say, if you are able to chat, please say hi and let us know how you are and what you've brought with you, if you have brought something with you. So, who's said hi, if anybody?
Well, a few people, as you know, have let us know about the sound.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yeah, so we have Jane. Jane is back. Hey, Jane, welcome
back.
Hi,
Jane.
And Rebecca, as so frequently,
one of our diehard regulars. Yeah, thank absolutely. You, Rebecca.
Yeah, welcome back, Rebecca. And Annie has joined us.
Hi, Annie.
As has Val.
Hi, Val. That's great.
Rebecca says, logged off, then back on, because I thought it was me.
Yeah.
No, with us, you can pretty much guarantee that, because we haven't got Kirk sitting beside us, that we've done something wrong.
Well, and to be honest, our life right now is so insane with trying to get my godmother's apartment sorted, emptied, and closed down since her move to long-term care. And our house is full of things, and it like our heads are in a constant jumble of flux and stuff. So, at least we got the right camera working. That was our first challenge. And we got the correct mic operational, just not unmuted. That was the problem.
Well, that's fortunate, because for a moment, if this mic isn't plugged in before you go live, there's no use.
Yeah, then we have to do a new live stream. So anyway, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. We are doing our best, I promise you.
Bless you, Rebecca. She says, totally understandable. And she says, I've got homework to work on from Kal.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've got lots to work on, as I know Kal. I'm just gluing some pages together in my altered book project that I started at the previous party. I have not had a moment to work on it before today, in between times, because we're completely immersed in all that apartment stuff and tending to, miscellaneous needs of my godmother now that she has moved into long-term care. So
lots of phone calls like, I needed this, I needed that.
Yeah, because she's settling in, we moved her directly from the hospital, so obviously she didn't have all the things she needed. And she's out of town, so it's complicated, right? And it's COVID, so that's extra complicated. Like we have yet to see the inside of her place, including her room, but not even just her room, because of the COVID restrictions.
We saw the front desk, and then we saw inside the door of an auditorium-like space as we got briefed on the home. Had
all our meetings with all the different personnel in charge of different departments. That's right. Yeah. So, it's a messed up time to have to be doing anything other than just sitting at home or being in your garden.
Making an alternate book or something.
So, this is a welcome respite. I hope it is for you too. So Rebecca has homework. Hopefully you have something nice to work on.
Yeah.
Just to Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I bet you Val is collaging. I mean,
I would hope so. I'd feel at a loss if she weren't collaging.
And Annie, what are you up to? And what are you up to, Sarah? And what are you up to, Jane? Let us know in the comments.
Please let us know.
Because it's this is kind of like an open studio, right? And we can't get to wander around and see what's cooking at your desk or your station. Let us know.
Yep. I should also mention that this is going to be this is the end of the season for Virtual Studio Party. And I'm going to be taking the summer off from Virtual Studio Party. It doesn't mean I will be completely invisible. I'm sure things will pop up, but we will resume this in the fall. Yes, because there's so much going on. So anyway, I'll refresh your memory of my book while the comments get in there. So I'm using one of these science supplements from an encyclopedia set, and at the last party I image transferred these close-ups on my father's original birth certificate. And I also did this image transfer on a very rippled piece of paper, a photograph of my father as a little tot, like a toddler, with his elder sister and his parents. And that needs more work, but I'm moving along. I have multiple stages to do for the next spread, and that's what I thought I would get into today. So what are people saying?
All right. Wow. So Val says she's working on the Paris Collage Collective Challenge, which that's a great group because they have visual prompts and they weekly. And
so you use the visual element,
exactly.
Right?
And they put them up a year's worth in advance. Like
wow,
they're through to
that's organized.
Yeah, no, they're very well organized. That's what I was just saying in the comments. Rebecca says of your godmom in Peterborough, correct? Which home? My grandmother was in Applewood for a while. So she's in St. Joseph's at Fleming, which so far we've been
seems
quite
very
impressed.
good.
Yeah. And I think it's good that it's attached to a college because I think they're sort of up on developments,
current practices,
exactly. And I think they do seem to be very friendly and very professional, which is kind of what you would hope. They haven't
supportive.
had any COVID outbreaks, which is
no COVID outbreak there, and that's very telling. Because they do have a substantial population, and I think it's Fairhaven, which is a highly thought of long-term care home there, also has an outbreak. So
and that's like a city.
Yeah, it's a public. Fairhaven's a public community-run long-term care home.
Annie says she might sit in the garden and sketch. It's nice and cool out.
That's nice. Very nice. Yeah, I like it when the heat dissipates.
And Rebecca says, Annie, wow, it's pouring here. Yeah, well, it did rain. It was raining here earlier, Rebecca.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's got over to you
moving.
guys. And, so sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I have just...
Tell us what's up, Kim.
I have glued several pages, more pages than I intended to together because I glued the wrong side. I meant to glue a new spread.
Of cardboard there.
So now I've got a very stiff.
Wow, yeah.
Actually, you can hear that. So it's very stiff, and I'm going to be gluing something. Oh, now you see. It's just occurred to me I needed to cut some pages out there. Where did the pages get cut? Oh no, they are cut. Okay, so there is a little space there. And then I glued the subsequent spread together to beef it up. In fact, I think I might have glued 3 pages together. So just to make it still not as stiff as the other one. Because what I am planning to do, and I think I mentioned this at the last time I had a vision for it, although I realized that I've ignored my original vision for the photography. It will come. I'll just do the sequence I had in mind later on. I've got some Japanese paper from the Japanese paper place that I've cut out a piece that I'm going to dye and collage onto this side. It's going to be a full page.
You want to show them that piece?
Sure. Yes. So it's actually, actually, Cal, can you pull out, oh, where's my paper binder? I have a binder that has papers in it. Is that green binder that's unlabeled? No, see where I'm pointing? Yeah, is that full of papers? Sorry, guys. I have this beautiful fibrous Japanese paper. I just wanted to be able to give you the proper information on it. It's not full of Japanese papers, right?
No.
You can try the paper kit papers. Keep on the same shelf and just look to the left. Thank you. So this is a beautiful, I don't know that it's the correct binder. I just,
right.
It's a shot in the dark. No, it's not. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to write in the description afterwards what paper this is. On one side, it's relatively smooth. On the other side, I'll try and get it side lit. Ugh, just blasting out all the time. It's textured on this side. The fibers are actually raised. So this is the surface that was pressed against something smooth. And it makes for beautiful, beautiful paper. This is a heavyweight. You can also get a thinner one that's more transparent than this, and it's thinner. So anyway, I think it'll be a beautiful paper for the left-hand side of the spread. On the right-hand side of the spread, I am going to make a ground. I'm thinking that I'm going to gel plate print a ground that will be evocative of a kind of batik ground. And then I'm going to I did some image research on, my father came from Indonesia, and being Chinese Indonesian is a very specific kind of Chinese subculture, Chinese diaspora subculture. And so I wanted to have distinctly Indonesian elements. So I've done some image research on batik featuring shadow puppet figures and Garuda birds. And I'm going to make my own design based on the research. And that'll be interesting because this is a more social, creative environment than when I'm just working in my studio. And working in my studio, I can imagine sensibly making a design when half of my mind is on our interactions and so on, and the fact that I'm on camera and so on. I just don't know how the design process will go for that. But hey, I'm game to give it a go and see what happens, right?
You know, a lot of us, when we're creating, we kind of wish our mind would be a little more quiet, and this is kind of enforces that you only can give what you're working on half your brain, right?
Yes,
because you're
if that
you're busy trying to articulate and relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a different way of accessing knowledge.
It is. So where did I put my image research? Have we got some?
We do indeed. So
there's an example for just
that's
look
great.
at the nice pointillist. Now, not all of it's pointillist. That's one approach to batik. Some of it's more linear, like that.
Oh, these are great.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what mine turned out like, but got some beautiful inspiration anyway for my design. So please update me.
Yeah. So Jane says, whenever back to what are you working on?
Yeah.
Whenever I'm betwixt and tweened, I create designs on paper coffee filters, round. So that's it today.
Great. Excellent.
And Rebecca of the rain. The garden needs it. So I guess she's happy to have the rain. Cherie has joined us.
Hi, Cherie.
Yeah.
We missed you last time.
Yeah. She says, hey, everyone. Good to be back with you again. I'm working on floral-inspired collages in response to the aired call for submissions. So,
yes, I saw that. Yeah.
and she asks of the Japanese paper place, is that the paper store that's across from Trinity Bellwood?
It's not. That's the paper place. So you can be forgiven for thinking they're the same. Now, they do carry papers. The Japanese paper place is a major wholesaler of Japanese paper, but they do also have a retail outlet in Southern Etobicoke, not far from Nielsen Park. So for those of you outside of Toronto, if there is anybody, even later on watching this, Etobicoke is a southwest or western suburb of Toronto or area of Toronto. So yeah, they're
on the East Mall the West Mall, I think.
Yeah, I think they're on the West Mall, south of Queen or something.
North of Queensway, I think. But but you'd have to
somewhere
look it up. Yeah,
look it up for sure.
I
they're on Instagram. In fact, I'll put that in the description of this video after we posted it today. If you're on Instagram and you're not following them, I really recommend it if you have any interest in paper, because they do supply the most beautiful papers and understand in depth to a degree that most people don't, the traditions of Japanese paper making. And they do their best to represent the traditions and support the traditions, because of course, one of the things is in the last 30 years, a huge percentage of the paper makers, traditional paper makers in Japan, have ceased operations. So it's down to a much smaller number now. Still an incredible range of papers, but yeah. So
Cherie says, my hood, awesome. Gotta check it
out.
Oh,
yeah.
Which is great, yeah.
They have, limited hours, but they definitely have retail hours. And of course, COVID has complicated everything. So just, you need to go to their website to get info. So I'll include in the caption that will be below this video, their website and their Instagram. And they're fantastically knowledgeable and can recommend things. They also pre-package collections of papers.
Yeah, if you want to try out a bunch of different papers or just have a little grab bag.
Yeah, just and even little mini packs of like offcuts. So that can be a lot of fun. I know there are a few collage artists in here, some of whom I'm sure already have availed themselves of that.
They also have some nice Japanese cutting tools and paper crafting tools,
they have other
and
ink and brushes and traditional adhesives and so on.
Exactly.
I mean, it really they're a great source. And Japanese paper is most Japanese things are premium priced, but honestly they are worth the and there's a wide range, because machine-made paper is much less expensive than handmade paper. Some handmade paper is much more labor-intensive than other handmade paper, and so there's a huge price range. So you can find things even if you're on a bit of a budget.
And once we're out of COVID, eventually, they have workshops there as well.
They
right?
do have workshops, and in fact, I think they were doing an online workshop recently.
Right,
so
right.
again, go to their website and you'll find out about workshops. So they're wholesalers, and they wholesale to people all over, certainly into the States, but I think in other countries as well. So yeah, if someone needs to know where they might be able to find Japanese paper, they'd be a good, in wherever they are in the country or in other countries, Japanese paper place would be a good place to ask, because they wholesale to all these different places. So, blah, 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 blah.
And belatedly, in response, I think, to your Indonesian design,
Yes.
Rebecca says beautiful.
Yeah.
As they are.
Yeah. My one of my aunts used to go to Indonesia regularly, maybe every 2 years or something like that, and to visit family, friends. And she always brought me back a little bit of something, often a piece of batik, which my mother then promptly took hold of and had made into things for herself.
Mom, stop that.
Mm-hmm. I did manage to make something for myself out of one delicious piece of fuchsia colored batik. All right. First thing I'm going to do is dye this paper. So I'm just going to get my color.
What are you going to use, Kim?
And I also should get my liquid gloves or whatever, hand cream. Here I've got some of you may be familiar that I use a hand cream, barrier cream, when I'm working with stuff, and I found Avon. This is from my godmother's apartment. Avon makes a silicone glove hand cream. That's what's on the back of it. This one is obviously designed for Christmas. But I just thought I'd share that in case anyone here ever buys from Avon. You might be able to get your...
Now, have you tried this before? Or you just
Never. We're going to try it.
And see what you think.
I'll rate it at the end. How about that?
3.5 stars.
Live reviews. Here we come. Okay. But a lot of people have access to Avon, whether they choose to or not. And so, it's good to know. Feels pretty good, actually. It goes on like a thicker lotion, and I feel like it's creating a barrier. So that's...
Is it scented?
It has a very faint aroma.
Right.
But so it's not perfumey, because it's very gently scented with something, but I can react quite badly to things that are heavily scented. Okay. Where's my ultramarine? There it is. Maybe ultramarine with a dab of cerulean. There we go. This will work out really well. Okay. Just going to clean out this. I find in our house anyway, there's often dust on things, so I'm going to just give it a wipe before I start mixing my paint in here. Okay, good. Oh, maybe I should switch to the overhead camera now, eh?
Why not?
Okay, I'm going to move it slowly.
Facing the other way.
Facing the other way. Okay.
That's it.
Sorry about that, guys. Reversing it on you like that. No, that's
right. But
hang on.
You just work.
There. That's pretty good. You can see how it looks, and if you think it needs a little adjustment, you can adjust it. How about that?
It's looking pretty good, actually.
Good.
We are all the way over to here, though. I think.
That's okay. When I get to the gel plate part, I'll be using that part too. So
all right.
Just trying to mix up a slightly less violet version of the blue. I was originally going to make the paper red, and then I realized the idea I have for the batik side, I want to include some water imagery. So, and my father's favorite color was royal blue. So I'm going to make my version of that.
That's great.
You know, I mean, when he said royal blue, I don't think he had a really precise image in his
No, but it's a
head,
strong.
but it gives me a good pointer.
Not navy either, right? So.
No, it's not navy. Yes, years ago when we went to Hong Kong, I bought my father a silk brocade dressing gown that was royal blue, and it made him very happy. He never wore it at home, of course, but he went one time when he went to the hospital, he packed that so that he would look good at the hospital, which I thought was so cute. I'm using one of my butcher tray palettes as my dyeing vessel, which is just made of enameled steel, for those of you who may not be familiar with it.
Do you want some high flow acrylics for that, or I mean, it's probably too late.
I don't need it because this will be fine. There's so much pigment in these. You know, I'll add some more paint if I feel I need it, but and I only have one sheet to dye, so that also helps. I'll have to dream up a use for the whatever is left over.
I'm just watching you put paint in a palette. I'm just thinking, it's been so long since I handled paint.
Yeah.
Doing collage courses for the most part, or courses with drawing, and
it's true. Yeah. Well, and I've only been teaching digital.
Yeah.
So Virtual Studio Party has been my opportunity to get tactile again.
Making me anxious to get back at it.
Oh, yeah. The pleasures of paint. Honestly, doesn't matter how long I've been away from it. It's always a pleasure to get playing with it again. Kal used to find it really funny because I would, in preparation for some multimedia show, I would start painting frantically, and that was my way of getting my artistic brain in gear, even if I did hardly any painting or possibly even no painting for the show. I just needed to paint in order to get there.
Yeah, it was like, you've got all this other work to do in your painting, and like you're gonna be up against it. And Kim saying, yeah, well, I need to actually produce work, so this is my doorway in, right?
Yeah, that's right. Everybody has a different way in, and that's that's actually very instructive because sometimes you can beat yourself up for, oh, I'm not doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing because I'm a serious artist or I have a serious deadline or whatever. But sometimes you need to do that apparently unrelated thing to get there, to get the thing, the serious stuff done, to get the deadline met. Even if it makes it a little more hair-raising, because creativity is not linear. Creativity grows organically from other things.
As designers, we sure wished it would be sometimes, because
clients always wanted us to go in straight lines.
Yeah, well, and it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
But we sure wished it did, because then we could meet the deadlines.
Yeah,
without,
deadlines that were devised with no awareness of how it worked. This is a nice sturdy paper, so I don't have to give it super special treatment as I'm doing this.
It's really taking the color beautifully.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now and thinking, normally I would have added a bit of flow aid to this. Just a little bit, just to help it disperse. I mean, the water does a lot, but
is it sort of too thick, a bit too thick?
Yeah. Not even, I don't know. It just behaves slightly differently than if it had flow aid in it. It might need a second dip, and in that case, I will make sure I have flow aid in the second dip. In fact, I could add some now if I could lay my hands on it.
Well, let me look for it for you.
It's a nozzle tip. It's not that. There we go. Is it in the other cart? Maybe the red cart, because it's might be Oh, that's all right.
Oh, hang on, got it.
You found it?
Yeah.
Well then, geez, isn't that nice? All right. So that's some, there's my official packaging. And that just reduces the viscosity. Even when paint is a watery wash, flow aid makes it disperse more easily and therefore is more easily absorbed by fibers, whether fabric or paper. So I'll just re-dip it now that it's got flow aid in it.
So watching you do this makes me wonder, Jane, what do you do with your coffee filters when you're working on them? Do you draw or paint on them? Do you dye them first? Do you do you use them as coffee filters first to get a
get a patina on them?
A color, yeah.
Some people gel print onto coffee filters. They have a nice sort of interfacing, like, I'm assuming you mean the basket style, although you may mean the cone style. The basket style ones I know have a kind of interfacing like feel to them, textile feel.
Well, there are also those disc ones with the hole punched in the center, like I guess for just the bottom of
percolators.
Percolator, I don't know. Jane will let us know.
She will, when she has a chance.
Yeah,
maybe in the middle of something. Okay, now I'm going to lay it on this page protector that I've put on a flutter board, because flutter boards are a well-known prop in a studio. The reason I'm using a flutter board is because it is flat and rigid and weighs almost nothing. See, it's nice and thick.
Yeah.
Oops, I've dripped onto the flutter board. You just dab at that with the paper towel. Thank you, my dear. So great to have a studio assistant for these. I might need that flutter board this summer.
Not
if we actually get to a beach.
Not going to be pristine color-wise.
No, it'll be an artist's flutter board. Okay.
An artist all a flutter.
Well, I would say that barrier cream is doing really well because I'm wiping my fingers and it's all coming off really well.
Great.
All that blue, and I'm going to clean that off so that I don't get it all over everything that in the book that I'm going to be touching. So I'll reapply my cream. All right. Now, I should put this tray somewhere.
You're going to hand it to me, right?
I am, because you have more liberty.
That's me. Liberty is me.
Oops. Hello. Let's get the focus to come down, down.
There we go. I just readjusted.
Did it?
Yeah, it's on the gel plate.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know I've watched enough YouTube videos to know how annoying it is when the focus is completely off. Let's get this camera slightly back there so it's on the table, not so much on my lap. Whoops. Why? Oops. My hands are slippery from the cream, but that knurled knob, you can't reach it from there? Okay, while that dries, and it looks like it's going to be a good color, not going to be too washed out, so I don't think I'll need to do a second coat. Now what I'm going to do is experiment a little bit with my gel plate to get the right effect for a batik-y sort of ground. Oops. Put it away with a little bit of something on it. Get this out and aside. Yeah, it's there. It doesn't have there. That's good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because my lap isn't that interesting. I just need to get some cling wrap because I forgot to get that.
Cherie says you have a long lifeline.
Do I?
I was like, what is she talking about? But then I realized you had your hands up to the.
Yeah, that's right. You get a good view of my, hopefully not my fingerprints, but okay.
And Jane answers, first she irons them. Yes, basket type. Then, believe it or not, I sew crazy designs on them, then create designs within, sort of like Zentangles, color blocking, you name it. Very relaxing.
Right.
Started this because we got a new coffee pot that didn't require the paper filters, and I just couldn't simply throw them out.
Well, that's a good reason, though. I like
great.
that.
I love it. It's seeing the potential in them.
Definitely. Now, let's see here. There we are, bright aqua green. That's what I was looking for. Getting a little of that color, maybe mixing it with a bit of cerulean. I don't know, I'm into mixing the paint today, I think. I'll move that out of the way. Where's my book? So I'm improvising, just so everybody understands that.
Really? It all
Which
seems
is
very planned.
Does it? I mean, it's planned to a point, but improvisation, a lot of improvisation within that. what I'm thinking about, so that's going to have the dyed paper. This, I'm thinking about giving it a surface treatment, maybe of some diluted gesso. If I can open it. Ugh. Normally that works a charm, but it didn't this time. It's a good opportunity to have something to drink, so cheers, everybody. Cal's getting it.
It's mostly off, just so be careful.
Yeah.
Jane says, wow, major pouring right now with huge drops in West End of Toronto.
Wow.
Well, sunny here in Brampton.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want the sun, just come north.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But I think it is a varied weather.
Very varied day.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to just put a bit of, I have a large palette here, so I'm just going to use bits of it for different purposes. What I might do even is, no, adding water is a good thing because it dries more quickly if you add water. Which is the opposite of adding medium, by the way, just medium generally slows it down. Okay. I just sort of want to knock back the content that's here, but I don't need to eliminate it because I don't need to deny what the book is. So.
Jane says, nice straight rain. Don't have to close the windows.
Better order that again next time, eh?
Nice plum rain.
That's right. There we go. Okay, and now I'll just unify the surface. And I'm going to turn the fan on, which may create a little bit of ambient noise.
Hopefully the mic won't catch it too badly.
Hopefully not. But there you can see I've got it drying the page. And in fact, I'll put something underneath that to raise it up. And that gives me some time to test out what I have in mind for printing from the plate, which is handy. Okay, close this. All right. Let's use some Liquitex Basics for this. Liquitex Basics. There we go. Ultramarine blue. Now, of course, this I'm going to have to flip the book around so that this fan is not blowing at my plate. because that
You
can
don't
really make a make for a sad jelly printing session. Okay, there we go. You want it to stay moist so that it can print. Now, yes, you can see that. Good. Now, my actual book page size isn't even as large as this 8x10 plate, but I'm going to get it fully covered for my test prints anyway. Just removing some of the excess paint. And smoothing it. All right. There is a kind of batik ground that relates to the crinkling of the fabric, and so the crinkle effect from the, which is a really standard surface design treatment. Should create something analogous to it, to the batik. Let's see. So Rebecca, is it still raining where you are?
No, she sent it to Jane.
If we have anyone living out at the east end of Toronto or GTA, can report on its progress.
Rebecca's probably as east as we have. But
yeah.
Well, I don't know that, but I suspect that.
There we go. That's a pretty clean print. Most of it came off the plate. And so this is the result. I'll hold it closer to the camera
Cool. Yeah.
so you can see the activity.
That's great.
So that's interesting. So I find the texture very interesting, and it's definitely a good ground. And it wouldn't be bad. I think I would remove more of the blue because I think I'm going to prepare the ground with a kind of turquoisey, cyan-y color. But I'm going to try something else that maybe will produce chunkier effects than that. I say maybe, advisedly, because I don't know until I try it, right? Don't know for sure until I try it.
Rebecca says of the rain, she thinks she must have because it's pretty well done where she is.
Right.
Now. And she says, can't get much east of her without getting into Scarborough.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to call up some of my family. Scarborough is where my father lived when he lived. I need another one of these. It's drying out. It can be challenging doing things one-handed, you know?
an extra hand.
Well, thank you, dear. You've been very helpful. So Kal wonderfully got his collage finished for possibly the first time ever. I don't know.
Certainly,
at
it
last
happens
week.
rarely.
Virtual Collage Jam. I'm not going to get this spread finished, but I am aiming to get a pretty ambitious number of steps done anyway. Oh, I've inadvertently used my golden fluid acrylics. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try them because this can all be part of the experiment. They might respond in a useful way to the crinkling effect that I'm going to be trying this time around differently. I'm thinking the fluid will be more easily absorbed by the paper. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to crumple paper instead and see, tissue paper would probably be a better idea than this. Ooh, actually, maybe not. Maybe this is the perfect one. I'm liking the effects. Wow. All right, quick, get some paper. Print that sucker.
Are you using the premium bond paper right now?
Yeah, I'm printing onto premium bond, which is my go-to cheap and cheerful. It's expensive compared to regular bond paper for the purposes those are meant for.
Paper.
Yeah, but it's super cheap compared to art
Any
paper,
sort of art paper, yeah.
and it's acid-free. And nice and smooth. That's why it works well with gel printing or printmaking in general. Okay. Oh, what an interesting. I like that.
Well, a lot got left on the plate, eh?
Yeah, well, it's the little ghosts.
Yeah, a tiny bit. That's what I'm being facetious. Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think maybe I just
Crystalline,
need
kind of.
to do it more, like not leave these solid areas at all and just get these sort of variegated and very skinny areas of blue. And then I will have the effect I'm after for the book.
A little sharper than this, but it has things in common with the way light plays on water that's moving, like ripples on water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like ice floating in water.
Yeah.
Dark water,
yeah. So,
It's very interesting.
delicious, yeah.
So, here's the advantage of improvising is I've invented an effect I didn't know. This isn't something I've taught in any of my gel plate printing courses or my surface design courses. So I love that. I always love to be in a zone where I'm discovering or inventing or whatever, anything like that. Because it's so rewarding. I get so excited about it. And that I inherit from my father.
Yep.
Who was always dreaming up inventive ideas. The difference is I'm actually doing them. It was more of a theoretician, wouldn't you say, dear?
I had to agree. Annie says of the thing you're showing, love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Annie.
I'm
Pretty
excited.
cool, eh?
And it's good. The gesso is drying nicely. So, in fact, maybe what I'll do is, I know what I'm going to try next with this. I'll just get that base color onto this book. Oh my God. Might need an elastic.
I have one here. I'll see what
Okay, great.
Get it.
Obviously, I need to pre-open the jars and bottles and tubes before starting the party up, eh?
Jane also really likes the result from the scrunched paper.
Thanks, Jane. Yeah, it's quite exciting.
I
Just
really
using
wouldn't have expected the tonal range, like from white through all these interesting.
That's actually one of the magical things about gel plate monoprints is you get when you apply textures to the plate, you get these kind of photographic feeling effects. And it's one of the things I love about the process. I'm just going to add some water to this ink because it does not need to be full strength. Okay, let's see how this looks. That looks good. I should have my page protector underneath this page, but I forged ahead without it. I have all kinds of them over here. You lift it. Thank you. There we go. Better late than never.
So never let it be said that I don't lift a finger to help you.
Well, everybody knows that's not. No one would accuse you of that. Let's put it that way. I don't want to tie myself into linguistic knots there. Especially when I'm actually trying to do something. All right. I'm just trying to get a nice watery colored base down. I'm going to put a bit of extra water there and see if I can. Excuse me. Okay. Just activate the top, lighten it a bit. It's not gouache, so it's not resoluble, but it's also not bone dry yet, so. Okay. Good, good. All right. So now that can be set aside to dry. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Is it full of paint?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried for a minute. I gotta admit.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Yeah, seriously. Wow. Okay, where did I put my plate?
Gel plate?
Yeah. Oh, for heaven's sake, Kim.
By the table beside you, like over where the monoplane.
Yeah, I'm looking there. Did anyone notice where I put my plate?
That's bad, Kim.
It is.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty classic me, though, I have to admit. Just when I figured out what I'm doing, too. It's not like I've been a lot of places, so.
It's a skill. Yeah, I mean, how is it even possible?
I'm really not sure. Obviously, I should have stayed working with the plate. So
it's right there. It's right there.
Where?
Right on the front edge of the table.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Always an adventure in my workspace. All right.
It had to be within reach because you really haven't.
I really haven't. I got up to get cling wrap once. Yeah. That's it.
You didn't have your plate in your hand. So.
Oh, boy. It's so annoying about the first part of this session having no sound because it's going to put people who come to watch it later off. Because if I try to edit it out from a live stream, it will turn it into a separate video on YouTube. The way they've set it up on YouTube is very annoying that way.
Oh, because
because now you've edited it, right. So it's not the live stream anymore, right, even though you're just trying to edit out a stupid technical error. They don't like that because they've got their integrity to consider. Okay. I'll use the old one too, but I thought it'd be nice to make a new one. Okay, so that one has narrower shapes than the old one. So let's just see what we get.
Cherie asks, can you put in closed captions?
I might be able to do something like that. I've never done it, so I will have to figure that out. But yeah, to let people know that, just...
It's only the first minute or two. Yeah.
Actually, I can put a time code into the description, and that will allow people to skip ahead to the part with the audio. Okay. I'm really hoping this prints well because I really like the way the plate looks. It was really looking beautiful. So I'm going to use my applicator to make sure I get really good burnishing all over the surface. Oh, and I've crumpled it a bit, but in my excitement, that's how you know it's handmade art. Handmade by me, anyway. No, it's too dry. Okay. So, I mean, it's not totally, I didn't leave it all on the plate by any stretch. So you can see what I've got, but there's a lot still on the plate as well. So I'm going to mix some open medium with the paint. I'll do a pickup print first, but then I'll mix some open medium. Best way to clean off a plate is pickup print anyway. Can I get anything out of this? I hope so. There we go. Oh. Can be good to have two brayers if you have two brayers, to use one for the dark colors and one for the light colors. Way too much paint. Okay. That's because I haven't been in my studio at all lately, and so I haven't been jelly printing or anything else.
Yeah, and with stuff like that, you
lose your feel.
You lose your touch, and it comes back quickly. But you just have to.
Yeah. You just have to be patient with yourself.
Yeah. Which, fortunately, you are a patient soul. So.
Or a throw caution to the wind sort of person. Yeah, some pickup layers need to be thin, so I may have to do a couple of prints to get it to pick up.
Start slow, but it'll begin to pick up.
Boy, it's so beautiful out here now, eh? I wish our Wi-Fi was strong enough that we could do this outside sometimes.
Yeah, although you think your gel plate print is drying too quickly.
Yeah, now. That's true. If I'm not doing gel plate printing, I could do it then.
Yeah. You can incorporate some bugs into your work.
Oh, hey. Amp up the protein content. Okay. The paint was still too thick, so it didn't pick up fully. And this residue is probably too dry, so you know. Ooh, got some interesting things though, and got quite a lot up. Whoops, there we go. See that?
That's nice. Yeah.
It's sort of fun that it breaks down into these lines that have the blue in it.
Yeah, that's great.
Quite interesting. It almost looks floral in there, really, you know?
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, well, I've got enough cleaned off that I can now use this in a spray bottle. And I'll try again. With the open medium. Get that out.
Val, who I think is in Markham, says raining, thundering, and sun out.
Oh my God. Classic.
She's got the whole panoply.
Well, maybe you'll get a really nice rainbow.
Yeah, it's possible.
That would be nice. Okay, so trying again. Better move those prints out of the way. Move that out of the way. Actually, I could have put a little less paint on because I forgot I'm putting a little medium in here too. Just a few drops of medium. And I'm going to work it back and forth in order to mix the medium and the paint on the plate. Sensible pre-planners would probably mix it on a palette and then put it on the plate, but I think most of you know me better than that.
Certainly those of us who know you well.
I'm very much a trial and error person. I don't know about the rest of you, but for me, what that means is I often think of the best way to do something after I've done it, maybe even several not ideal ways. But then at least it's definitely earned whatever I have learned. Okay. Let's refresh the crumpling on this a bit. And let's get this. Try this side too. Get paint all over my hands. All right. Give that a go.
While Kim's busy with that, why don't you guys let us know if you have any interesting plans for the summer? I know things are cautiously opening up again, and summer is also just generally speaking a better time for the airborne issues. So obviously caution is always still good, but I'm sure you have some tentative summer plans that might be interesting.
Okay.
That's pretty great. Wow. Is this more what you were shooting?
I feel like they're all turning out differently. I liked the bigger chunks I was getting, so I'll get a fresh piece of paper for the next one.
Yeah, this is a finer.
Yeah, this is finer. And I keep going in the wrong direction. I do apologize. Gosh. Eventually, I guess I'll figure out how to work with the camera. It is very interesting. It has a lot of depth. So some things look submerged, like over here. There are things that look submerged, and then there are things that feel like they're floating on top. So it's definitely as though there are white or icy things in blue water.
Lori Graham says, I love this one. It reminds me of water.
Excellent.
And welcome aboard, Lori. Yeah.
Hi, Lori.
Yeah.
Great to see you here. So that, see, every print is instructive, you know. It helps you realize what you like, what you don't like, and therefore what helps you think of what you might try to capture both of those things. So I'm going to take another piece of bond paper and crinkle it up and try and keep it fairly chunky. So that looks sort of chunky to me. And I'll get some more paint and medium on the plate. I'm thinking this page is dry now, so I might print directly onto my page this time.
Cool.
You know, and if it doesn't turn out the way I was hoping, then it doesn't turn out the way I was hoping. You know, it turns out a different way, and that becomes a different opportunity.
Exactly. You are modeling great creative flexibility and openness. So while you're working on that, we have some summer plans.
Excellent.
Annie
Can't
says
wait to hear.
Probably some day trips to Ontario University campuses, since her daughter will be in grade 12 in September.
Ah,
so
yes.
She's going to start thinking about
Preview.
needing to where she might apply.
Yep.
And
that's so organized. My parents never thought to do anything like that. Mind you, it was a different world. How, you know, the competitiveness of universities at that time, but anyway, do go on.
Yeah, I didn't apply to any universities outside of Toronto because I'm not. Well, they probably would, but it's like, well, you can go to those yourself, right?
Yeah,
you can go to York and down to OCA, and
that's right.
I forget where else I applied. Yeah. So Annie, what areas of interest of study is your daughter thinking about? Meanwhile, Val says hoping to see two of her boys in Quebec when they can.
Oh, lovely! Yes.
And Annie says borders to Quebec City or Quebec open in 2 days. And Annie says, me too, just local universities in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd had a temper tantrum with my dad, who would have indulged me somehow, and said, I want to go to UBC or something like that, you know, and gone to where there are mountains and ocean. And
I know that I considered but didn't end up applying, and now I wonder whether maybe I should have.
Yeah.
You never know. Till now, to Mount Allison, because they had art.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
They have a good art program. In fact, Nova Scotia is pretty great for art programs between NASCAD and Mount Allison. And
yeah, I don't remember knowing about NASCAD because I ruled out Mount Allison because I was more interested in graphic design and illustration. But NASCAD probably had that.
yeah, well, I mean, it became famous in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going directly into my book. Say a little prayer, please, everybody.
So, Annie says her daughter will have a visual art certificate from Kothra. But decided she doesn't want to do the hard work of making art under a program. Now she's thinking psychology, lots of mental health issues now.
That's really good thinking,
really
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it definitely overlaps with art for sure.
It does. All right. Ta-da!
The double blue. Now it really feels watery. But
I'll get even closer with the microphone. Let's get getting in the way. Whoops, wrong direction, of course.
Get too close for it to focus. Now well, I'm delayed too. So.
Yeah, it's very sharp now.
Yeah.
On my screen.
Yeah, no, it's...
Oops. There. So, and now you can see it from more of a distance. So it's definitely a very interesting, rich texture, even if it only relates to batik in my own mind.
Annie says of our earlier conversation,
Yep.
art therapy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Val says, beautiful page. And Annie says, looks great, Kim. Perfect royal blue.
Thank you.
And Rebecca says, Kirk just dropped into my studio with some cherries.
Oh, nice.
And asked me to say hi to him.
Hi, Kirk.
Yeah, hi, Kirk. Hi from us.
Yep.
And,
Hope you're doing well.
Cherries, that sounds pretty great.
Yeah. We need to get some fresh strawberries too. Like
strawberry season.
We live near strawberry farms, so it would be a crime not to. So I'm just going to turn the fan onto this, let it dry for a couple of minutes, a minute or two, while I get myself a little bit organized and a little bit whoopsie. Well, it got a little more distressing. There's something underneath this. That's what's causing the problem. There we go. Okay. Kal just can't believe what a train wreck my studio process is. But there, it's less
for different folks.
It's also less so when I have 100% of my attention on concentrating on things. So I'm just going to give my brayer a little wipe.
Isabel McKay.
Oh, hi, Isabel.
Hello, Isabel. Nice to have you along. It says beautiful colors.
Thank you. So it's got a good textural start. And I'm going to let that dry. I'm hoping. No, this is still wet. Well,
maybe flip it over. Ooh, look at that.
That's cool. I could glue it on wet probably too.
Of course you could. And back on the university front for a moment.
Yeah.
Cherie says, I was a U of T Sheridan College Arts graduate. Great program.
Oh, yeah.
Also...
my niece, cousin, did the art and art history program that was a joint with Sheridan and U of T Mississauga.
She says, it was also nice to graduate with no massive student debt.
Yes.
There were 4 kids and 1 income. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
That's impressive. But it was so much cheaper when we were going.
Oh, tuition was reasonable.
Yeah. Like it in a modest family like ours, mine was for sure. I had a single parent home. And yours sounds like it was still a stretch, but it was stretchable. Not like now. And I remember OSAP, the student loan program, was easy to qualify for, and people also got grants if they needed them. That's good. It's drying nice and quick because, of course, the printmaking process is very thin layers of paint. So
true, says Sherry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, what I need to apply some drying to now is my dyed paper. So I'll bring it closer up so you can see some of the fibers in there.
And will these sort of circular pockmarks stay?
So those are air bubbles, and they will stay visible because paint has concentrated around the edges. Because they're slightly raised, the paint pigment has concentrated around the edges, and that's fine. Like, to me, natural byproducts of process are things I generally embrace. There are times when I'm very specific and precise. Believe it or not, if you come to my shows, you see evidence of the fact
absolutely.
that I can be very specific and precise, but I am a really studio-centric artist in the sense that I like seeing things like that happen. I'll bring it closer just so you can, in case you missed it. So that bubble there. Now the exposure's better. You can see a whole bunch of them there. But that's cool. And on the other side, it looks different again. Yeah, it's not focused. Okay. Well, I'll show it again in a bit.
Annie says when she was at McGill.
Oops. There, got the focus back. Yep.
When Annie was at McGill, it was $57 a course.
Wow. And what is it now? $900 a course or something?
Yeah, she said Quebec heavily subsidized universities.
Mm-hmm.
I think education should be free because society benefits from it.
Yeah.
And I know that some countries...
And society does not benefit from people starting out in life
with this huge...
with a massive millstone of debt. No. And democracy does not survive well when that's the case, because then people can't speak out freely or be brave, except at great risk to livelihoods they need to pay off their debt, which is not right.
Yeah, that's very anti-democratic, actually.
Yeah.
Rebecca says her first degree was psychology from Trent.
Yeah.
She likes a more generalized school to allow more experimentation. She did courses in 5 different majors her first year to see what she liked. That's great. I love it.
Oh, you are a woman after my own heart, Rebecca. I would have been a butterfly sipping at all the flowers. As it was, I didn't complete my degree, but I was a double major in Chinese history and Chinese philosophy.
When I went to OCA, the first couple of years, I was so grateful not to be doing academics.
Yeah.
And then the last year, I was like completely burnt out.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because I was like, oh, thank
would have been nice if
I,
you'd had some English courses or something.
Like I didn't have to do any math or any writing other than like figuring out a proportion or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, then it flipped from being idyllic to being too monotonous.
There, I just flipped the paper over and now you can see those fibers really well, in addition to those little air bubbles. So I should have smoothed it out. If I wanted to avoid the air bubbles, I should have smoothed it out to get the air bubbles out. But I like it. It's quite in keeping with the whole fabric treatment that batik is, to have different effects, I think.
Have sort of effects of a fluid process. Right?
Yeah.
Cherie says, no rain in South Etobicoke yet, but thunder.
Right. You're hearing the storms.
And Annie says in Quebec, they had a chance to try courses in Sejak, which is like
grade
11 and 12, but more of a university atmosphere. I love that idea, actually. I think that's having some sort of transition.
Yeah, I think it would do a lot of students a lot of good.
Lori says, looks like it's under a microscope.
Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Yes, I can see that. And fluid effects can really do that. My My first solo show at the Redhead Gallery was in November 2019. Wow. COVID has just occupied so much time already. And I did a series of photographs that were close-up details of fluid paintings. And the series was called Biological because they looked cellular,
really
they looked microscopic and like strikingly. And I just loved the effect, and I really should release more images in that series because it was a good one that way. Maybe for my next Redhead show, you know.
Or he says, or maybe I have viruses on the brain.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we all do, right? We don't watch news very much. You know, we get enough news through on websites and so on, but I bet they show endless images of viruses and microscopic images when reporting on COVID. And of course, hospital white coats, labs.
Is Lori one of your sci-art community?
Lori, can you remind me? I know your name, and I know we've corresponded or messaged or something not very long ago, quite recently, but I can't remember the context in which I know you.
We have COVID brain plus overwhelmed.
Plus overwhelmed brain with
productive flourishing. Yes, thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Yes.
Kim's friend network is.
I've got all these different circles. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
thank you for that. Yeah. It's so nice that you come to this, Lori. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying them enough to come repeatedly. So it's just damp now, which is good. So I think I'm going to risk gluing it. I'm going to choose to have as the side we see the one where the fibers are more evident, and also that's where the pigment rings are most evident, whereas the other side is a little blander. So we don't want bland. So here, look at that. Isn't that lovely?
That's great. Yeah. Nice. They're very similar, but quite different.
Yeah.
Right?
And this, of course, is going to get much different when I then superimpose in paint and paint pen my batik design. So I think what I'll do.
Lori says it's so fun to celebrate creative people.
And be creative together, you know, even if it's just your imagination being tickled or your senses being tickled, you don't have to actually be doing it. Oh, Kim, I need some medium. All right, here's some medium.
Lori says, I have a dress like this.
Excellent.
Cherie says, in the art and art history program, you took a U of T course 2 hours a week for credit. However, studios were 4 hours a week for half credit.
Right.
No days off, lots of night courses, and bus trips between campuses.
That's nice. I think the bus to the downtown campus is a nice thing if you can have the time to take advantage.
She says she likes to joke that she graduated from Travelway's bus line.
Did you take some of your courses downtown, and that's why?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And that's so true, Lori. She says it's important to have a sense of play, especially when we're trying to be creative for our living. Yes.
Yeah.
It can get all too serious, all too
easily and quickly
and exhaustingly.
Which we experienced plenty in our design life.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the play that was possible as a designer, when circumstances permitted.
Jane says, "Don't want to be the party pooper, but it's almost 3:45. It isn't. It's 3:36, but we are past 3:30." So.
Yeah. So.
Or maybe she's saying 3:45 is your tea time. So.
Right. I'm going to get this sheet glued on, Jane. And obviously,
yeah, if anyone has to,
if you have to leave, we understand.
Normally, I keep track of time, but I have lost track of it today. So
obviously, I'll just before anybody leaves, hopefully, I'll just remind you that Virtual Studio Party will be on hiatus until September. I don't know what date in September, but the date will be available on my website and on my social media channels. And in my eventual newsletter, I've been too swamped to do my newsletter for months, for which I apologize, but something had to give. And that was one of the several things that gave. So if I don't see you in some way before September, I hope you have a really good summer. And I hope to see you back at Virtual Studio Party and Kal's Virtual Collage Jam, of course, which there's another one of those next Monday, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be the final live stream event for the season.
Yeah. Cherie says, yes, Academics Downtown and UTM Studios of Oakville and the now demolished Sheridan site. Jane asks, what kind of brush are you using for the glue? And is it medium you're using? It is medium, right?
Yes, I'm using TriArt polymer medium semi-gloss. TriArt's a Canadian brand. You can certainly use a decent brand, because if the polymer is the binder used in acrylics, if the polymer isn't a decent quality, then it's going to make a terrible glue, because that's what's needed for the gluing property. Oh, let's get this off of here, and then I will burnish.
Rebecca says, we will miss you.
Aw, I'll miss you too.
And Cherie says, always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. Sorry, Kal is taking that call, just like when my father was in the hospital. I took his call with things as they are with my godmother. We're taking calls at times we normally would not. So my apologies for that. So what kind of brush, Jane was asking. This is called a wide surface brush or something. It comes in a set of three, a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch. It's synthetic bristle, very smooth, and not thick. So that's not very thick, as you can tell by comparing it. Sorry, there we go. By comparing it with my finger. Okay, so not thick like a house painting brush and not coarse like a house painting brush. So it is meant for art and craft purposes. And I'm just have to burnish it near the spine. I may need to, once it's dry, touch up the edges with a bit more polymer. We'll just see how that goes. But there, smoothing it on. And the other thing I should point out is I have purposely trimmed the paper larger than the page size, because you'll never align this perfectly on when you are applying it. And so what you want to do is have overhang on all three sides. I barely do right there because I'm crooked. And then when it's dry, trim it flush, and then you'll have a perfect flush page. So that's, some of you may already know that, but if anybody doesn't, that is an invaluable tip. We call it bleed allowance in commercial printing for image area. If you want it to bleed to the edges, you have to have extra image, and then the printer trims to the final size. So there we go. We've got that spread, and this side is now ready for me to work out my design based on, I'll just get there were 4 images I actually found. This is very pointillist. This I showed you is very linear, and I sort of had this kind of background in mind when I was doing the crinkle effect. This is another example that has that. So it's in cracks and creases in the wax application on the fabric. And look at, it's so detailed, right? And I definitely want to get into being quite detailed with the image, but I will also probably have more plainer areas than this design does for contrast, right? And then this one sort of reminds me of William Morris a bit, but it is a batik design, and it also has a bird and flowers. So those are my inspirations for the image. So it is now 3:43, and I'm going to read the messages since Kal is occupied on the phone. It is so rich, isn't it, Cherie? And thank you, Jane. Have a great summer, too. As the song goes, see you in September. It looks really good, Kim. Haven't left yet. Okay, great. Val, thank you. Hopefully see you next week. If not, have a great summer. Well, I sure hope I see you next week, but likewise. And he says, we'll have to check the Facebook group to see if you post the finished page during the summer. Rebecca says, thanks, Kim. Have a great summer. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see some of you next week at Kal's Virtual Collage Jam, and which will be his final collage jam for the season. And boy, it's been really nice being back with you this spring, even though it was shortened by calamitous events. So take good care of yourself, Lori. Thanks so much. Enjoy your gardens, enjoy your summer plans, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.